The silver ships arrived on a Tuesday. They descended through Earth's atmosphere with an elegance that seemed impossible for their massive size, hovering above major cities worldwide without making a sound. Humans gathered in streets, on rooftops, in parks, all looking skyward with a mixture of fear and wonder. When the vessels opened, revealing beings with iridescent skin and six-fingered hands, humanity held its collective breath. The aliens called themselves the Raxians, representatives of the Galactic Hegemony, a vast union of intelligent species. They'd brought gifts, medical technologies that could cure diseases, energy systems that produced no waste, and agricultural methods that could end hunger. Most of Earth celebrated. News channels showed endless footage of world leaders shaking hands with the alien diplomats. Children wore T-shirts with alien faces. Universities created new departments dedicated to extraterrestrial studies. Captain Juan Park watched it all from his small office at the Joint Space Defense Initiative headquarters. Unlike most, he didn't smile. Something about the Raxians bothered him, a feeling he couldn't shake. "You're being paranoid again," his colleague told him after a briefing. "They've shared more technology in 3 months than we've developed in a century." Park nodded but spent that night reviewing transmission patterns from the alien vessels. He noticed something odd. Regular bursts of data sent to points beyond our solar system that weren't mentioned in any official communications. He brought his concerns to General Han, who dismissed them. "The aliens have explained their technology is compatible with ours. These are probably just system diagnostics." Park wasn't convinced. He requested access to examine one of the agricultural enhancement modules the aliens had provided. His request was denied. When he asked to inspect a medical scanner, he was told those were off-limits too. "Why gift us technology we can't study?" Park asked his small team of analysts. "What doctor would use a tool they don't understand?" Park began gathering like-minded individuals, scientists who questioned the alien technology, military personnel who felt uneasy about the rapid disarmament talks, intelligence officers who noticed patterns in alien diplomatic efforts. They met in basements, used coded messages, and called themselves the Watchers. 6 months after first contact, Park's team intercepted a transmission between Raxian vessels. Their linguists worked day and night to decode it. "Sir, you need to see this," said analyst Minyam Lee, placing a tablet on Park's desk at 3 a.m. The message contained phrases their translation matrix identified. Phase 1 complete, defensive capabilities assessed, and preparation for integration. "Integration?" Park asked. "That doesn't sound like partnership." That same week, Park's friend at the Science Ministry gained access to the schematics of a Raxian power generator. The technology was impressive, but oddly limited. It seemed deliberately designed to prevent humans from understanding key components. "It's like giving a calculator to someone who doesn't know mathematics," his friend explained. "We can use it, but we can't learn from it." Park brought his evidence to Admiral Jae-yong Kim, one of the few military leaders who shared his concerns. Together, they began a secret program to analyze all alien technology and communications. Their breakthrough came when they discovered a pattern in seemingly random power fluctuations from Raxian vessels. Using Earth's oldest code-breaking technologies, methods the aliens wouldn't expect humans to still employ, they uncovered hidden messages. "They're mapping our defenses," Park told Admiral Kim. "Every power plant, military base, communication hub. They're creating a strategic assessment." When Park hacked into a Raxian medical scanner, he found it was collecting more than health data. It was analyzing human biological weaknesses. Admiral Kim arranged a private meeting with the defense minister, bringing Park's evidence. The minister listened but remained skeptical. "Even if what you say is true, what can we do? Their technology is centuries beyond ours." "Maybe not," Park said. "The technology they shared is impressive but limited. I believe they're hiding their capabilities while studying ours." Park didn't wait for official approval. His network began gathering scientists who worked independently, reverse engineering what alien technology they could access while developing countermeasures. They operated in abandoned facilities, university basements, and private labs, keeping their work off networks the aliens might monitor. When the Raxians announced they would establish permanent embassies on Earth, with large compounds in strategic locations, Park's suspicions grew stronger. The proposed sites overlooked major military installations or communication hubs. Then came the request that confirmed his fears. The hegemony representatives asked Earth to deactivate its primitive defense systems as a gesture of trust. They offered to replace them with more advanced shields that would protect Earth from cosmic threats. "They want us defenseless," Park told his growing network of allies. "History has taught us what happens to civilizations that surrender their ability to defend themselves." Using unauthorized channels, Park's team accessed one of the Raxian vessels during a diplomatic function. They discovered documents outlining integration protocols for thousands of worlds. Earth was categorized as a Stage 3 acquisition. The pattern was always the same: technological gifts that created dependency, strategic positioning of alien forces, and finally, replacement of defensive capabilities with systems the hegemony controlled. In 12,000 cycles of conquest, the hegemony had never failed to subjugate a world once they reached Stage 3. Park brought this evidence to a secret council of military and intelligence leaders from nations around the world. In a secure underground facility, he showed them what his team had discovered. "We have a choice," he told them. "We can continue welcoming our new friends while they prepare our chains, or we can recognize that in the cosmic jungle, we are facing predators, not partners." The Earth's leaders made their decision. Publicly, they would continue to embrace the aliens and accept their gifts. Privately, they would prepare for the truth Park had uncovered. Humanity wasn't being welcomed into the galactic community. They were being prepared for conquest. And so began humanity's greatest deception, pretending to be deceived, while secretly preparing for war. Dr. Tahoe Kim wiped sweat from his forehead as he studied the alien device. The small cylinder, no bigger than his thumb, contained more computing power than Earth's most advanced supercomputers. The Raxians had called it a cultural database for human students to learn about galactic history. Kim saw it for what it truly was: a treasure trove of technical information if one knew how to look. "Hand me the spectrometer," he said to his assistant. They worked in an underground lab, 30 meters below an abandoned factory. The facility didn't exist on any official records. The power it used came from a private generator. The scientists who worked there traveled through a complex series of routes to avoid being followed. This was just one of hundreds of similar facilities created under the Silent Protocol, humanity's hidden response to the alien presence. Above ground, humans continued to play the role of grateful students. President Garcia regularly appeared on television, thanking the hegemony for their generous sharing of knowledge. Universities hosted Raxian lecturers who taught carefully selected aspects of galactic science. Humans acted amazed by technologies that, in many cases, they had already begun to improve upon. In Kim's lab, the team had made a crucial discovery. The alien propulsion system, touted as the pinnacle of interstellar travel technology, had a critical weakness. "Look at this," Kim pointed to a holographic display. "Their drive creates a quantum field that's perfectly balanced. Too perfect." His colleague looked confused. "Isn't balance good?" "Not in combat," Kim explained. "Their ships can travel incredible distances using minimal energy, but they sacrifice maneuverability. They can't make quick changes in direction without destabilizing the field." This discovery sparked a new direction in human ship design. Rather than copying the alien technology exactly, Kim's team created a hybrid system. It couldn't match the fuel efficiency of Raxian drives, but it could execute combat maneuvers that would tear the alien vessels apart. Similar breakthroughs happened across Earth. In Sydney, researchers found flaws in hegemony shield systems. In Lagos, scientists improved alien communication technology to create untraceable networks. In each case, humans built upon alien technology rather than simply adopting it. Admiral Summi Lee stood before a group of veteran soldiers from various Earth nations. The room was packed with battle-hardened men and women, special forces operators, guerrilla warfare experts, tactical planners. The Rexians believe that technological superiority guarantees victory, she told them. They've conquered 1,000 worlds with this philosophy, but they've never met humans. Lee had studied the limited information available about hegemony combat tactics. She found them shockingly rigid and predictable. They'd forgotten the fog of war, she explained to her officers. Their battle plans rely on overwhelming force applied according to mathematical models. They haven't fought a real enemy in centuries, only managed surrenders. Lee's Special Warfare Unit developed tactics that would seem insane to the aliens. They practiced fighting with deliberate electronic blackouts, creating disinformation campaigns that would confuse enemy targeting systems, and using Earth's varied terrain to maximum advantage. Aliens who travel between stars think in terms of open space, she told her troops. We'll make them fight in mountains, forests, and oceans. We'll make them fight in ways their computers can't predict. While Kim's scientists and Lee's soldiers prepared in secret, ordinary people played their parts in the deception. Factory workers manufactured seemingly simple components that, when assembled elsewhere, became parts of advanced weapon systems. Farmers allowed their fields to be used for hidden underground bunkers. Students studying with alien teachers focused on asking questions that revealed more than their instructors intended. The silent protocol required the greatest act of unified deception in human history. Nations that had been enemies for generations now worked together in absolute secrecy. Politicians who couldn't agree on basic policies found common ground in preparing for resistance. 6 months into the silent protocol, the hegemony announced a gift to humanity, a massive trade vessel that would orbit Earth and facilitate greater exchange of goods and knowledge. When the enormous ship arrived, humans organized celebrations worldwide. Fireworks lit up the skies. Children released balloons. The alien ambassador received the keys to New York City. But Captain Juan Park's intelligence team had intercepted and decoded enough transmissions to know the truth. The trade vessel carried enough weapons to level Earth's major cities. Its cultural exchange modules were disguised dropships for troops. The atmospheric monitoring equipment could disperse chemical agents across continents. The first phase of invasion had arrived. Inside the mountain headquarters of Earth's Unified Defense Command, Admiral Lee met with Dr. Kim and Captain Park. "Are we ready?" Lee asked. Kim spread schematics across the table. "The countermeasures are in place. If they activate any weapons systems, we'll know immediately. Our own systems can target their key vulnerabilities." "What about the ground defenses?" Lee asked. "Fully operational but invisible to their scans," Park replied. "The decoy bases are transmitting exactly as expected. The real ones are shielded using their own technology against them." For a moment, none of them spoke. The weight of what they faced hung in the air between them. "They think we're primitive," Lee finally said. "They expect us to be awed by their ships, grateful for their attention. They've conquered 1,000 worlds this way. But they've never met humans before," Kim added. "Let's hope we're as special as we think we are," Park said quietly. The next day, human representatives boarded the trade vessel for what was described as a cultural exchange summit. Among them were engineers carrying specialized devices that looked like diplomatic gifts, but were actually advanced scanning technology. Every corner of the alien ship was mapped, every weapon system identified. When they returned to Earth, the final preparations began. Military units moved into hidden positions. The advanced defensive grids, built using reverse-engineered alien technology, were brought to full readiness. And still, on the surface, humans smiled and waved at their alien visitors. They attended cultural exhibitions about the glorious hegemony. They thanked the Raxians for their generosity. The aliens never suspected that behind every smile was a species preparing for war. The humans had learned their lesson well. Trust, but verify. and prepare for betrayal. Snow fell softly on Paris as the first alien warships broke through the clouds. Their massive hulls glowed with an eerie blue light as they positioned themselves over the city. Similar scenes played out across Earth. New York, Tokyo, Cairo, Sydney, all watching as hegemony vessels descended through the winter sky. The attack came without warning or declaration. One moment, the Raxian ambassador was giving a speech about friendship between worlds. The next, energy weapons fired from orbit, targeting what alien intelligence had identified as Earth's primary defense installations. But the beams struck empty buildings and abandoned bases. The real defense centers had been relocated months ago, hidden deep underground or camouflaged as civilian structures. In Moscow's hidden command center, General Jihai Song received the emergency alert. "They've started," she announced to her staff. "Begin Operation Thunderbolt." Across Earth, civilians hurried to predetermined shelters as military personnel moved to battle stations. The panic the aliens expected never materialized. Instead, they faced a population that had been quietly preparing for this moment. In orbit, what the hegemony had dismissed as primitive communication satellites suddenly transformed. Panels shifted, revealing weapon systems based on the aliens' own technology, but modified by human engineers. The orbital defense grid activated, targeting the invasion fleet's command ships first. "Status report," Song demanded. "Lunar Base Alpha launching interceptors," her communications officer replied. "Orbital grid at 100% capacity. First wave of counterattacks hitting their mark." The aliens had no idea that humans had established bases on the far side of the moon. Now, ships of human design but powered by improved alien technology emerged from hidden hangars. They were smaller than the massive hegemony vessels, but faster and more maneuverable. The Raxian commander, Supreme War Leader Thos, watched in disbelief as his first wave of attacks met fierce resistance. According to all intelligence, humans had no space combat capability. Yet his screen showed dozens of Earth vessels executing complex attack patterns. "Impossible," he muttered. "Their technology is primitive. They welcomed our cultural guides. They accepted our gifts." "Sir," his second-in-command reported, "we're detecting energy signatures similar to our own weapons systems, but with modifications we don't recognize." Thos ordered his fleet to form a standard combat sphere, a formation that had crushed resistance on 100 worlds. The massive ships began to arrange themselves in a mathematically perfect defensive pattern. General Song smiled as she watched the alien movements on her tactical display. "They're using standard formation beta," she noted, exactly as Admiral Lee predicted. For months, human tacticians had studied the limited data available on hegemony battle techniques. They discovered that the aliens relied on a surprisingly small number of combat formations, all based on mathematical perfection rather than battlefield adaptability. "Initiate disruption pattern Alpha," Song ordered. Human ships broke into seemingly random groups, attacking from multiple vectors simultaneously. Some charged straight at the alien formation, while others executed maneuvers that appeared suicidal but served to pull hegemony ships out of position. The Raxian commander struggled to adapt. His battle computers couldn't predict the seemingly chaotic human movements. When he ordered his ships to target the largest human vessels, smaller craft slipped through the defensive screen to launch precision strikes against vulnerable systems. By the second day of battle, the aliens had lost a third of their fleet. Their remaining ships retreated to higher orbit to regroup. "They're regrouping exactly as expected," reported Song's tactical officer, "moving to position for their second wave attack." Song nodded. "Begin Phase 2. On Earth, powerful emitters activated, sending carefully crafted signals toward the alien fleet. The transmissions mimicked internal hegemony communications, but contained subtle code modifications designed to corrupt their targeting systems. When the aliens launched their second attack, many of their weapons fired at phantom targets or, in some cases, at other hegemony ships. Confusion spread through their command structure. Supreme War Leader Thawes realized too late that he had gravely underestimated humanity. "These are not primitives," he told his war council. "They have been deceiving us from the beginning." By the fourth day, the battle had turned decisively in Earth's favor. Human ships, operating in small, coordinated groups, systematically disabled the remaining alien vessels. Rather than destroying them completely, Song had ordered her forces to target propulsion and weapon systems, leaving life support intact. "We want prisoners," she explained to her officers, "and we want the hegemony to know exactly what happened here." On the fifth day, Thawes made a desperate gamble. He ordered his remaining ships to target Earth's major cities directly, hoping to force a surrender by threatening civilian populations. The human response was immediate and overwhelming. Hidden planetary defense cannons activated, firing streams of hyper-accelerated particles that sliced through the alien vessels. The lunar bases launched their reserve forces, cutting off the hegemony's retreat path. "We know your tactics, Thawes," Song broadcast on all frequencies. "We studied you while you thought you were studying us. We learned from you while pretending to be students. Now the lesson ends." By the sixth day, it was over. The mighty hegemony invasion force, sent to subjugate yet another primitive world, drifted in ruins around Earth's orbit. A handful of damaged alien ships managed to escape, jumping to faster-than-light travel with human vessels in close pursuit. In the European Command Center, General Song addressed the United Earth Defense Forces. "This is only the beginning," she told them. "The hegemony has never experienced defeat. They will return with a larger force, but they will find the same result." She stood before a display showing the remains of the alien fleet. "Let them learn what humans have always known. The most dangerous predator isn't the strongest or fastest. It's the one that thinks." Across the galaxy, the news spread rapidly. For the first time in 12,000 cycles of conquest, the hegemony had failed. A supposedly primitive species had not only resisted but had convincingly defeated an invasion fleet. The Galactic Council, the highest authority of the hegemony, convened an emergency session. The council chamber, usually a place of calm deliberation, now filled with angry voices and accusations. "How could this happen?" demanded the High Counselor, his four eyes blinking rapidly in distress. "They were pre-space flight when we found them. Their technology was basic, their weapons primitive." The intelligence director could offer no satisfactory explanation. "They deceived us, High Counselor. They presented themselves as grateful students while preparing for war." After hours of debate, the council reached its decision. This dangerous anomaly could not be allowed to spread. If other subjugated species learned that the hegemony could be defeated, the entire galactic order might collapse. "Deploy the main battle groups," the High Counselor ordered. "Every available ship, every weapon system. Humanity must be crushed completely." As the orders went out across the galaxy, the few Raxian survivors of the Earth battle brought disturbing news. The humans had not merely defended their world. They had pursued retreating ships. They had captured alien technology intact. And most worrying of all, they had started to move beyond their solar system. Commander Junho Choi sat in the darkness of his bridge, watching the massive hegemony supply station through the view screen. His ship, the Thunderbolt, hung motionless among the debris fields surrounding the alien outpost. 5 other human vessels waited nearby, equally still and silent, their systems powered down to avoid detection. "Status of the enemy patrols?" Choi asked quietly. "The last destroyer passed our position 10 minutes ago," his tactical officer replied. "Their regular patrol puts the next one here in 20 minutes. Choi nodded. The hegemony's military operated with machine-like predictability, a weakness his fleet had exploited repeatedly. The aliens never changed patrol routes, never varied their timing, never expected the unexpected. "All ships, prepare to attack," he ordered. "Remember the plan. Hit hard, hit fast, then vanish before their reinforcements arrive." This deep in hegemony space, 30 light-years from Earth, Choi's small fleet couldn't hope to win a direct confrontation with the alien armada. But they didn't need to. Their mission was to disrupt, to damage, and to disappear, what Earth Command now called Wolf Pack Tactics. On Choi's signal, the 6 human ships powered up simultaneously and accelerated toward the supply station. The hegemony's alarm systems blared too late. By the time defensive shields activated, human vessels had already launched their precision strikes against fuel depots and communication arrays. Target their main power core, Choi ordered. Fire. The Thunderbolt's main weapon, a modified version of hegemony technology, fired a concentrated beam that cut through the station's outer defenses. Secondary explosions bloomed across the structure's surface. Incoming enemy vessels, reported the sensor officer. 3 heavy cruisers from the nearby jump gate. Right on time, Choi smiled. Begin Phase 2. 2 human ships broke formation, appearing to flee in panic. The alien cruisers, following standard hegemony doctrine, immediately pursued what they perceived as easy targets. This split their forces, exactly as Choi had planned. The trap is set, his communications officer announced. Captain Kim's ships are in position. From the darkness of space behind the hegemony cruisers, 3 more human vessels appeared, reinforcements that had been waiting in stealth mode. They attacked the alien ships from behind, while Choi's vessels engaged from the front. Caught in the crossfire, the first hegemony cruiser exploded. The second suffered critical damage to its propulsion systems. The third managed to send a distress call before Choi's flagship disabled its communications array. We have 8 minutes before their reinforcements arrive, Choi announced. Complete the mission and prepare to jump. The human ships launched specialized boarding pods toward the damaged supply station. Within minutes, teams of human soldiers secured vital data cores and technology samples. Other teams planted explosive charges in key structural locations. 7 minutes later, Choi's fleet vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind a destroyed supply station, 2 crippled hegemony cruisers, and 1 completely destroyed. When alien reinforcements arrived, they found only ruin and a message left behind on all frequencies. Humanity sends its regards. This same scene played out across dozens of star systems, while the hegemony concentrated its main battle fleets for a massive assault on Earth. Human strike forces targeted their supply lines, communication hubs, and shipyards. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that refused to mass for a decisive battle, choosing instead to bleed them with 1,000 small cuts. In the Hegemony War Council, High Commander Vex pounded his fist on the table. These humans fight without honor. They strike and flee before we can engage them properly. They fight to win, observed his intelligence director. They don't care about proper battle formations or honorable engagements. How can we defeat an enemy that refuses to fight as they should? Vex demanded. The answer was that they couldn't, at least not with their current strategies. The hegemony military, designed for overwhelming force against inferior opponents, found itself outmaneuvered by human adaptability. The most successful human commander, Shunho Choi, became a nightmare for hegemony forces. His third fleet never consisted of more than 12 ships, but intelligence reports placed them attacking targets across 20 different star systems in the same week. The aliens doubled patrols, established new defensive protocols, and set elaborate traps. Yet Choi's wolf pack continued to strike successfully. The secret to his success was simple. Choi gave his captains complete autonomy to make decisions based on changing situations, while hegemony commanders waited for orders from Central Command. Human ships adapted instantly to battlefield conditions. Never do what they expect, Choi told his officers. The moment we become predictable, we die. As the second year of war began, humanity revealed another weapon: information. Human intelligence services had gathered extensive evidence of hegemony atrocities against subjugated species. They'd broadcast this information across captured communication nodes, reaching worlds that had lived under alien rule for generations. On the planet Telex Prime, a world conquered 300 cycles earlier. The native population rose up against their hegemony overseers after seeing footage of their sacred temples being destroyed on other worlds. Similar rebellions erupted across a dozen systems. The hegemony found itself fighting on multiple fronts, diverting precious resources to maintain control of worlds they had considered pacified generations ago. Their once mighty empire began cracking from within. In a desperate move, the hegemony launched its planned assault on Earth with only half the originally intended forces. They expected to find a heavily defended planet, its forces concentrated to protect the human homeworld. Instead, they encountered a trap. Humanity had transformed their solar system into an elaborate kill zone, with automated defense platforms, minefields, and hidden fleet bases. The attack force suffered heavy losses before even reaching Earth orbit. When the remaining hegemony ships finally broke through to Earth, they found the planet protected by technology they recognized as their own, but improved. Human shields absorbed energy attacks that should have penetrated them. Human weapons struck with precision that matched or exceeded hegemony capabilities. The attack failed spectacularly. Less than 20% of the fleet managed to escape back to hegemony space. As the third year of war began, the unthinkable happened. The High Council of the Hegemony, for the first time in its 12,000-cycle history, voted to open peace negotiations with an enemy. They had finally encountered a species they could not conquer. When the message reached Earth Command, General Kim brought it directly to the Human Defense Council. "The hegemony is suing for peace," she announced, her voice betraying her disbelief. "They're requesting immediate cessation of hostilities and offering territorial concessions." Commander Choi, recently promoted to Fleet Admiral, studied the alien transmission carefully. "They're desperate," he observed. "Their empire is fracturing. They've lost control of at least 8 major systems to rebellions. Their supply lines are in shambles. They've never faced this situation before. Can we trust them?" asked the council chairman. Choi shook his head. "Not completely, but we've achieved something unprecedented. We've proven that their empire isn't invincible. That alone changes the galaxy forever." The Human Defense Council voted unanimously to accept preliminary peace talks, but with a clear message. Humanity would negotiate from a position of strength, not as a conquered people grateful for mercy. As the diplomatic vessels prepared for the historic meeting at a neutral location, Admiral Choi gave orders for his fleets to maintain combat readiness. "Peace is our goal," he told his commanders. "But we earned that peace through strength. We'll maintain that strength until the ink is dry on any treaty." Across the galaxy, news spread among subjugated species. For the first time in living memory, the mighty hegemony had met its match. The humans, newcomers to the galactic stage, had not only resisted conquest, but had forced the oppressors to the negotiating table. A new age was beginning, an age where humanity would take its place among the stars not as subjects, but as equals, and perhaps as liberators. The great hall of the Proxima Centauri Peace Station hung with silence. Thousands of eyes, some with multiple pupils, others with compound lenses, some barely recognizable as eyes at all, focused on the small human female who stood at the center of the chamber. Ambassador Mina Kang wore a simple white suit with only Earth's blue and green emblem at her collar. She needed no grand uniform or decorations to command attention. The assembled representatives of 300 galactic civilizations knew exactly who she was and what she represented. Humanity, the species that had broken the hegemony. Behind her stood Admiral Junho Choi in his Black Fleet uniform and General Jai Song in her army greens. Their presence sent a clear message: diplomacy backed by force. "We thank the Galactic Assembly for hosting these historic negotiations," Kang began, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. "Today marks a new chapter in galactic history." On elevated platforms around the room sat the 12 remaining members of the Hegemony High Council. Once, they had numbered 30. The others had been killed in battle, overthrown by rebellions, or executed by their own kind for failure. Their skin, once proudly iridescent, now seemed dull under the harsh lights. Humanity presents its terms for peace. Kang continued. She touched a small device on her wrist, projecting a holographic document that everyone could see. First, recognition of complete independence for Earth and all human-settled worlds. Second, immediate liberation of any species that wishes to leave hegemony control. Third, reparations for the unprovoked attack on our homeworld. The High Counselor of the hegemony rose to his feet. These terms are unprecedented. You would dismantle an empire that has maintained galactic order for 12,000 cycles. Kang's expression didn't change. An empire built on conquest and subjugation. Yes, we would see it transformed into something better. You are but one species, the counselor argued. New to the stars. What gives you the right to remake the galaxy in your image? Now Kang smiled, but there was nothing warm in it. We didn't start this war, counselor. You did. When you came to our world with your false gifts and hidden weapons. When you assumed we were just another primitive species to be cataloged, conquered, and controlled. She stepped closer to the alien delegation. You misjudged us from the beginning. You saw our technological development and assumed we were defenseless. You saw our divisions and thought us weak. You never understood what shaped us. The chamber grew even quieter as she continued. Humanity evolved as pursuit predators on a world full of dangers. For millions of years, we survived by outthinking stronger, faster creatures. For thousands of years, we fought wars against ourselves, constantly improving our ability to adapt, to innovate, to overcome. Admiral Choi stepped forward, activating his own display. It showed footage of the last major battle. Human ships executing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics, adapting instantly to hegemony tactics, turning perceived weaknesses into sudden strengths. You mistake our nature, Kang told the assembled representatives. We don't seek dominion. We seek security through strength. Challenge that security, and you awaken something ancient in us, something that remembers hunting on the savannah and surviving against all odds. From the back of the chamber, a different voice spoke. This came from a representative of the Tellan, a species that had been under hegemony rule for 2,000 cycles. The humans speak truth, the Tellan said. My world suffered under your order for generations. We and many others support Earth's terms. Similar voices rose from around the room, species that had found courage to speak after witnessing humanity's success. The hegemony representatives shifted uncomfortably as they realized how isolated they had become. The High Counselor conferred briefly with his colleagues, then spoke again. We will need time to consider these demands. You have one Earth day, General Song replied immediately. Our fleets remain at full combat readiness. That night, as the alien delegations debated among themselves, Kang met with Admiral Choi and General Song in the human quarters. Will they agree? Song asked. Choi nodded. They have no choice. Our intelligence shows the remaining fleets are scattered, trying to suppress rebellions across a dozen systems. Their economy is in ruins. Their subject species are watching this meeting very carefully. And if they refuse? Kang asked. Then we demonstrate that humanity's patience has limits, Song replied simply. When the assembly reconvened the next day, the hegemony representatives looked defeated. One by one, they'd pressed their six-fingered hands against the peace document, formally accepting Earth's terms. The Peace of Proxima Centauri was signed. For the first time in 12,000 cycles, the galaxy would know a different kind of order, one not built on conquest, but on cooperation among equals. As the proceedings concluded, a small delegation from the Volari approached Kang. The Volari were an ancient species, neutral in the conflict but respected for their wisdom. We have observed your kind with great interest, the Volari elder said. You are something new in our experience, a species with both the predator's instinct and the builder's vision. We hope to be good neighbors, Kang replied. Humanity has much to learn from the galaxy. Perhaps, the elder said. But the galaxy has much to learn from humanity as well. You have reminded us that complacency leads to stagnation. The hegemony forgot how to adapt, how to innovate. You never did. In the weeks that followed, alien diplomats visited Earth for the first time, as equals rather than conquerors. They marveled at human cities, human art, and human resilience. Most of all, they were surprised by humanity's ability to shift from war to peace without losing their vigilance. For even as peace celebrations took place, human shipyards continued production. New defensive systems were installed around Earth and its colonies. Military training proceeded without interruption. When the Volari ambassador questioned this, Admiral Choi gave a simple answer. Peace is not the absence of strength, but its proper application. We fought this war so we would never need to fight another, but we remain ready, just in case. As the last alien delegations departed the Sol system, their vessels passed human patrol ships moving with silent efficiency through the darkness of space. The message was clear. Earth had won its peace through strength, and would maintain it the same way. Throughout the galaxy, a new understanding spread. In the cosmic jungle, humanity wasn't prey. They were apex predators who had evolved not just to survive, but to thrive in any environment, including the stars themselves. And yet, unlike the hegemony before them, they did not seek to dominate. They sought only to ensure that no species would ever again mistake their desire for peace as weakness. The galaxy would never be the same, and that perhaps was for the better.